So today we're looking at the Boba Fett prototype armor. So let's check it out. Okay, so this video kind of came about today because I got a surprise package in the mail this morning, and it was sent from a viewer, and found out it was actually one of my friends up in my friend Bill from Indiana. So he sent me this because when I done my initial overlook of all my Boba Fett figures, I didn't actually have this one. So now since I have this now, I'm going to do a review on it. So let's first get started with the packaging, of course. Okay, so taking a look at the packaging, this is very standard for newer Black Series figures, and it's amazing how much the Black Series packaging has changed throughout the years from the very first ones to now. But as you can see, it's got the plastic bubble which showcases the figure. Now there's like a lot, because that's my studio light. You can see if I cover it up, it doesn't do that. So that's my studio light that's making that big glare right there. But as you can see, pretty cool. It says, Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, Boba Fett prototype armor at the bottom, made by Hasbro. And you see, you got a awesome portrait of the prototype Boba Fett there on the side. See, there's not much there on that side. On the bottom, on the top, it's just got a window looking down at the figure. On the back, you got the awesome portrait and a bio. So if you want to read that, go ahead and pause it now. There's also bios in other languages there, and some more stuff there at the bottom. So let's, without further ado, let's get into it and get him open. So now here is, the prototype Boba Fett outside of his plastic prison, and as you can see, this figure is just incredible. This does use the older style Boba Fett mold, from the original Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett for the Black Series. Which unfortunately I don't have that version, but I do have the newer Return of the Jedi version, so I'll show you that later when I do, my comparison time. But now, the history, of how this, why this figure exists, why he's in all white is because, Boba Fett was originally intended to be the SuperTrooper, which is basically like a elite stormtrooper. Thus is why he's all white like a stormtrooper. But for whatever reason, they decided to make him a bounty hunter, which, to me is kind of a change for the better. Although this concept, did kind of come into canon, with Rebels, because there were, Mandalorians that, that served the Empire that were wearing, like, Stormtrooper-like Mandalorian armor. So they kind of, reused this concept later, but still, it's pretty cool. So let's get into his accessories. So you can't have Boba Fett without his, signature jetpack. Now, unlike the other jetpacks, this one is all white to match the figure. And now these older ones, the missile does not appear to be removable. So that appears to be molded in place. A lot of the newer ones are removable. But the only problem I have with the removable ones is the peg tended to crack over time. So, I don't mind it not being removable. But, it's still cool for what it is. But as you can see, it's got a different peg too than the newer ones. So these won't interchange. But you can see it... just, clicks onto the back like so. I get the peg to go in there. Okay, there we go. And now you got the jetpack on the figure, which helps complete the look of the figure. Okay, so the first of his two weapons is this smaller blaster pistol. And, to me, the weapons for this figure, are the same weapons as the standard Boba Fett. So I wish because the Super Trooper had a little bit different weapons on the normal Boba Fett. So I wish they would have included those instead of the normal Boba Fett ones. But I mean, this is fine for what it is. But and you can see now, I don't have the other ones to show you, but the standard one with the standard Boba Fett would have been brown with the silver barrel. This one is all black, just flat black, no paint detail whatsoever. Still a pretty cool functional piece. Now he can hold this in his right hand. He's got a sculpted trigger figure on each hand. It's easier to get into his right hand though, so he can hold this blaster pistol, which is pretty cool. And what's also awesome is he has a holster on his right leg here where you can store his blaster pistol when it's not in use, which is a black holster, which is pretty cool actually. His last accessory is the larger blaster right here, which is a signature weapon for Boba Fett. And like I said, this is based off the older version from like Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, because the newer one he uses is a little bit different than this one. And see, it's straight up black, no paint details whatsoever. This weapon is kind of gummy too, especially the stock, which that does make it easier to get it into his hand. When it's hard and rigid, it's hard to get it to go into his hand. He can't store this anywhere, but he can hold on to this, which, you know, is probably how I'm going to display him anyway, is holding on to this weapon right here. So as you can see, he can hold on to it one-handed. He can kind of get a two-handed pose, but it's kind of hard without, you know, warping the stock and stuff. But, you know, you can kind of get him in two-handed pose. If I can get the barrel to go through his arm there. And you see, it just warps the stock really bad. So that's a big problem with this. If I can get it to go in. There we go. So you can get him in two-handed pose. It really does a number on the stock there. But so I probably won't display him with it two-handed because it won't warp the stock all up. But you see, if you can get it using it two-handed, like tearing the messing up stock, that would look really cool. Quickly go over the articulation. He's got a ball joint at the head there, which gets pretty good articulation. You know, he's got, you know, a hinge at the shoulder, which this one's a little hindered by the Wookiee braids, but this one goes up a little better. He's got a hinge, a swivel there at the shoulder, a double hinge and a swivel at his elbow. His armor gauntlet can also turn. He's got a single hinge there at the wrist, which gets you at a pretty good angle there. He's got, you know, a minimal waist articulation. It's kind of hindered by the armor. As you can see, he's got pretty good thigh articulation there. He's got a swivel at the thigh. He's got a double bend at the knee. And he's got, you know, a hinge and some ankle pivot. So let's go with the sculpt, design, and color of this figure, starting with his head. Now, as you can see, this does a pretty good job looking like the prototype Super Trooper. And now, I don't think the Super Trooper would have had the dent at the top of his helmet like Boba Fett. Yeah, they reuse the same mold as Boba Fett, so that's why, you know, you have the dent still there. But, you know, it is cool for what it is. And, you know, it's kind of like it's not like a pure white color. It's kind of like, sort of like a cream color they use. It's more of a cream color on his jumpsuit there today. That's pretty cool. The armor plates are a little more white, and then his jumpsuit is more of like a cream color, so it kind of makes his armor plates kind of stand out, which is pretty cool. He's got a standard black visor like Boba Fett usually does, and his antenna does not move, so that's kind of, on the older ones it doesn't, so that's, you know, kind of sucks, but, you know, it's still pretty cool though. I don't usually display the antenna down anyway, so it doesn't really matter. He's got some black paint details on the side there, and some silver on the back. And like I said, his armor is mostly white. There's a little bit of black details there on the chest. He still got some of the dents and dings like Boba Fett would. But, you know, dents and dings are going to happen, you know, when the Super Trooper, I guess, you know, is deployed. You know, he's going to get shot at, so he's going to get dents and dings in his armor. That's just normal. Now, I don't think the Super Trooper would have had the Wookiee braids. Yeah, that's just from, you know, using the same mold as Boba Fett. Which I do believe he did have the cape, I think, from that footage. I could be wrong, but now, you know, I guess the thing with the Wookiee braids is, I guess that'd be kind of neat to have, you know, because you have this figure, which is what, you know, what he was intended to be, and then the Wookiee braids just kind of gives you kind of like a foreshadowing what, you know, what this character eventually, you know, becomes into, you know. So it's pretty neat there. As you can see, he's got his wrist gauntlets are white too, with some painted silver details on there. And move the jetpack. You can, as you can see, there's where the jetpack will go into his back there. You know, the armor's got a lot of sculpted detail into it too. That way, it actually looks like metal or Beskar, which is actually pretty neat. And the back has got, you know, those cream colored belts going around. He's got the armor around his rear end and his crotch protector there. The crotch protector also has a dent. He's got some pockets on his front. He's got that black holster with his pistol in it on the one side there. He's got, yeah, the normal Boba Fett cargo pants from the original trilogy with the pockets and stuff. He's got some cream-colored gloves, which is pretty cool. Now, I don't know if them are the same color as the Boba Fett. I could be wrong. But he's got the white knee pads with some silver paint details. He's got the tools in his pockets down in front of his shins. You know, not as much detail in the back there. He's got the standard, you know, Boba Fett boots with the points on them and everything, which is pretty cool. They're kind of like a grayish cream color, as you can see. Not as much paint detail as the other version. So here he is, this prototype version compared to the newer Return of the Jedi version. It'd be cool if they done a all-white version of this Return of the Jedi one they made. That's the newer mold and stuff. I don't have the original Empire Strikes Back one, the same mold as the white one, but as you can see, you can see what a difference there is between these two versions. Here he is compared to Jango Fett, which I believe they later released Jango Fett, but with the Camino jetpack. This one's got the Geonosis jetpack, which I think that Geonosis jetpack fit Jango Fett better, but I'll get into all that when I do a review on Jango Fett. So you can see the similarities and differences between these two. So here he is compared to the book of Boba Fett, or the Mandalorian version, because this is actually more based off the Mandalorian. But you can see, you know, quite a different, you know, look, you know, and outfits and stuff with these two. So last but not least, here he is compared to Cobb Vanth. And now the reason I'm comparing him to Cobb Vanth is because, you know, this Cobb Vanth is the one that's wearing, you know, the Boba Fett armor pieces, and which you know, he technically didn't steal this from Boba Fett. He unknowingly bought stolen property. So yeah, but you know, Boba Fett does end up getting it back. Well, he actually didn't confront him and get it back, but you know, Din Djarin, you know, confiscated it because it was unlawful for him to have since he was a Mandalorian. Then, you know, Boba Fett took it back, and Din Djarin gave it back to him and all that stuff. But so as you can see, you know, the Cobb Vanth one uses the same armor pieces as the Return of the Jedi version, just painted a little bit differently. Which I have done a review on that figure, so you want to go look at that. You go find it in my Black Series playlist. So what do I think of this figure overall? You know, I really enjoyed this figure. You know, special thanks out to, you know, my friend Bill from Indiana for sending this along so I can do a video on it. And you know, like I said, this is a nice piece to add to my, you know, collection with my, you know, Mandalorians and stuff. So so you want to see more Black Series reviews, give me a thumbs up. That'll help me out a lot. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Until next time.